Okay, that was an enthusiastic response, at least by one person, so thank you. We are going to talk about offensive by design, but before we get to that, I want to welcome you through now the middle part of the afternoon of BSides San Antonio. I'm only because they mean so much to us. You'll hear every session we thank USAA and St. Mary's just because they do so much to make this all happen, especially the facility. So thank them very much. Our diamond sponsors, USAA. Also, I want to thank Island for their sponsorship. I want to make sure you get right into getting as much as you can from our speaker, Wes. Wes Wright's going to be talking about offensive by design, GenAI and Docker for the lazy hacker. How many here are lazy? He lied. You raised your hands. You're not lazy, but Wes is going to try to do it. Wes, please take it away.
Is this? All right, we got it. All right, thanks everyone for joining. So glad they gave me the big room for my first conference talk. No pressure. So as we said, we're doing offensive by design, GenAI, and Docker for the lazy hacker. I had a moment of inspiration and wanted to kind of design a talk around it after doing like a late night vibe coding session, if you will. So a little bit about myself, a senior security consultant at Bishop Fox, founder of my own LLC called Hill Country Hacking. Been in the offensive security field for about 10 years, doing mobile application cloud and enterprise network pen testing, as well as web apps. Bachelor of Science from Computer Engineering from A&M, finishing my Information Security Engineering Masters from the SANS Institute. GAC times 11, CISP, and CompTIA A+, started it all off. So why this talk? We got another talk on GenAI, but this one's going to be a bit more storytelling and a little more fun because GenAI is fun. Like I said, I had an evening of inspiration. After about 3 hours of doing this over one night, felt to be a good talk. So I used GenAI to write the abstract to submit to BSides. So a lot of exciting capabilities that are becoming increasingly mainstream. Learning, making development prototypes, as well as supplementing existing workflows. So as we say, it's another talk on AI, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm sure there's a lot of people in the room who've said, this is the greatest thing ever, and then almost immediately followed up by saying, I want to throw my computer out the window while you're trying to get some code to work. So if you've done that, this is a talk for you. So as I said, this is my first time presenting this talk, so hopefully we get some engagement and interest on the topic so we can identify what my next steps will be. Quickly, we're going to go over GenAI and Docker, quick high level, the mission, the learning, the bugs, the demo, and what comes next. So we're going to live demo on my first presentation. So hope we made our demo god sacrifices. So quick primer on GenAI and LLM. Who's familiar with those? Everyone? Okay, most? Okay, so this is why this is super quick. We've had about 10 talks on it already, so I don't want to bore anyone else. But GenAI, generative human-like responses, making realistic videos, ideas, and it's a powerful tool for creativity. Large language models, generative AI trained on vast amounts of text to produce human-like language. These are non-deterministic, so you don't get the same thing every time, and they are, prediction. They are not understanding. We'll get into that in depth later. Docker works on what are considered portable containers, run consistently across different environments, making it easier to develop, test, and deploy software. For this particular project and supplementing my workflows, I used Kali. It has a minimalistic Docker you can download, well-maintained, easily configurable, has app installs for making common tools really easy. So very easy, makes it lightweight. Over here we have our quick high level of containerized applications. My original workflow was with VMs, which got incredibly bloated and would easily fill up a terabyte hard drive with all my snapshots, backups, and things like that. So Docker really reduces the footprint and capabilities and portability. So that's why I kind of chose those two. I hadn't taken a lot of thought for Docker, but during my last couple months at work, I've started to try Docker a little bit more, seeing different applications, especially in cloud testing environments. So I started playing with that, and then I wanted to use ChatGPT to learn. So using our mission was to use ChatGPT to learn Docker, create a packageable CLI tool, and streamline project workflows. And as you'll see, it was a fun journey that should help with future projects. I'm starting my research capstone for my master's, which is to use GenAI to enhance password cracking when resources are limited. So maybe the results of that research will develop a new talk next year. Who knows? Or maybe I will have thrown my computer through the window and you won't see me at all. So let's get into it. So the prompt, after a couple of rounds of prompts, learning Docker Compose, making Docker files, I use this prompt, spelling errors and all, to enhance my Bash script that I have for work that I had been working on. I know Bash, what a monster. But we have, as we see here, the prompt. Let's add the ability we have created to modify attached script to use it. And then we get all the way down to I want compose files, which should have been Docker files. But see, I learned. To easily update if I find new tools that should be installed. So I wanted everything templatable, easily updatable as tools come and go, and extensible. So I wanted to try from scratch to see how ChatGPT could do this by itself. Just give it a prompt, see if we could get a functioning program at the other side. Disclaimer, we did not. It took a lot of help, which is where we get into in our next couple slides here. So this is the phase where I started realizing that the talk I could give would be less about making a really cool tool, but identifying how to use AI to code and supplement our workflows as security professionals, offensive, defensive, red team, anything like that. And so as I started doing this, I started running into common themes and pitfalls that I'm sure most people have run into, have stories themselves. I know I talked with my manager. He was doing this for some Azure templates to work on one of our tools. We have CloudFox. He wanted to extend it to add some Azure things. And we had a talk where we were talking about how cool it was and how quickly it could develop things, but how wrong and confidently wrong it would be. So let's dive in to my biggest headache, missing files. I asked this thing about 5 times that setup pi was not in the zip package it gave me. After the 5th time, it finally said, yep, I goofed. I didn't add it, let's fix it now. So that was an annoying 30 or 40 minutes of my time trying to just get the file I wanted. So we finally got it fixed, but we didn't. It strikes again, this time with a misconfigured entry point in setup.py. But as you see here, we can put our tracebacks, errors, and different things in in this case, ChatGPT, and it will try and resolve those errors. So that we'll discuss that a bit later as what applications you can do for that. But so also, why does it choose to place things where it does? So I had my Docker Compose and Docker files that were in libraries in the package that we eventually generated, but it chose to put my notes in the Python code and just write them on each run. It does work, but it's not a great method because you introduce a lot of complexity and opportunity for error. So it would have been served as a template. Let's see. curl, the curl creator calls AI created bug bounties, AI slop. And here we see a bunch of messy code. It tripled up on this particular function here where it's going to tell me what to run if we don't have a Docker compose file that's existing. It was meant to be just a quick check. So if we run this with a no Docker, we'll get a project file and we can run it again. If it exists, it'll check and then it'll tell us to do our Docker compose up. But it tripled it up while we did our code reviews and bug fixes. So that's messy. And then as you see under here, this is part of our Docker compose file. We have a double mount of the workspace directory. So when you try and compose up, it yells at you and errors out. And my favorite, which I don't have shown here, if you have two directories that are named the same, it will tell you to either delete one of the directories or wait a day because it uses the date. I was like, that is less than ideal. But as I mentioned earlier, one of the nice things to do is do a step-by-step run through looking for logic files bugs. So you can just run ChatGPT on it's the code base and it'll run through. I did a couple iterations looking for logic flaws, missing files, syntax errors. As you can see here, I did a couple at once. You can also use this to highlight certain parts of the code and walk you through what's happening, which was stepping away from the development side, using this as any sort of code review as a developer or a secure code review as an offensive security professional. If you have a local LLM or a corporate license that has the ability to kind of keep your code in secure spaces, or you have NDAs and things like that that allow you to put client code into a generative model, you can use this to help you do secure code review. Highlight sections, say this got flagged by, for example, semgrep or fortify, and say this portion of code flagged for cross-site scripting. What is wrong, or what can be fixed, or what are the entry points in the code base that we can get to that to compromise it. So it's a great additional pair of eyes on the code to explain either line by line or by function what's happening, and you can really get into a good flow there, and it's a valuable way to expand your workflows. This one didn't happen. This is a bonus. This happened on one of my initial tries of this. It was a different project I was trying about, I'd say, this time last year. So I believe it's been fixed. But as we see with hallucinations or ChatGPT just filling things out, it will give you a completed project, but it may not be right. So this one, import ACE tools as tools, was actually a pretty prevalent one. ACE tools was an internal OpenAI Python library that got trained into one of their models, and it started spitting it out. And there's actually a knowledge base article in the community forum for OpenAI. I actually installed this, but luckily there was a dev who went and registered the PyPy package, and it was just empty, so it installed nothing. So it was benign, but this really has a lot of security implications as we go, that we need to be wary of the outputs and not trust it, because it wants to be helpful and it will finish it for you, even if it's wrong. So kind of the takeaways here, we must take AI as an assistant that's incredibly smart, but makes mistakes. As I developed this, we kind of used the old research theme that using new technology to enhance old techniques. And we're now seeing vibe coding. So we need to know how to have good vibes. When I found that complete reliance on the AI, we had some decent results, but a lot to be desired with bugs and it developing things not like a human. That's probably the key takeaway is it's prediction, not understanding. So when it generates the code, it does not generate like a human or a developer. So it puts, as we saw, things in weird places, triples things up, will come up with all sorts of weird logic flaws. So we trade off our hours of coding to hours of debugging and managing a tool. So you become less a developer, more a manager. So if you want to be a manager, maybe try a couple of these and learn. So yeah, and you kind of get into a cycle of QA and code review, but it makes mistakes. But it can go into QA, but I ran out of bullet points, but we go into QA and it goes and goes and goes until you kind of get to something. So let's see what we came up with and see if I can switch this and switch to. All right, that is tiny, but we got 3 screens. Can everyone see okay? Good enough? Okay. So we ended up with Fox Docs. So I'm using names. So as we can see, we can pip install it. That was one of our goals, see if we can make a package. We have our, this was just a test, so we'll do it live now, just in case things broke. So we're gonna do setup, client, service line is EPT. Oh, cool, I did. That's the first time I misspelled it that way. Nerves, I'm gonna call nerves on this one. It's set up. There we go. So now we copy paste this. See if we can also get my favorite error before we do that. Because I left it in here, so we'll discuss what I want to do next. Choose a different client name or wait a day. Why? How about pick a different name? So here we go. I pre-built all of these images last night because I am working from an ancient 10-year-old laptop and Docker Compose up from a fresh build. It takes 25 minutes. So, I mean, I could have done that for the whole talk and just had y'all watch Docker Compose. So we have our Compose file, we have our container, and we have a Kali image. So oftentimes we have multiples. So let's do an internal pen test. So again, this is all generated by AI with some bug hunting by me to get it to a state, and did pretty good. So we got our BSides, our workspace. So we'll start with our external workspace. So now we have a workspace that is configured per our service line with common themes that we have, loot, notes, recon, report, screenshots, terminal logs. And so one of the nice things I did here to make sure you always have all of your tool outputs is I have a terminal log that starts on each container. So let's attach our shell, drop right into a nice new Kali. So we're on our Kali box. Let's do a test recon file. Put that in our recon. Test tool. Put that out. It's not in there. All right, and then let's check our terminal logs. Oops. Yeah. See, live demo. There we go. So full terminal log based on everything we've done, because I have a bad habit of doing this. oops, and it's gone. So, or I discovered on this laptop, if you do a middle click for too long, it will destroy the tab 2. That was fun when I was setting this all up. Kept losing my shells. So we have all that. We can see that our Recon has our tool output. So what's nice about this workspace is we've mounted it to the file system so that if we look in our documents, where did I put it? Home, Docker Share, EBT, Workspace, Recon, all our stuff should be there. So that when we're done with our container, we come back over to FoxDocs, give us a status real quick, see what's running, and then destroy our containers. Or first we will archive it. So we're not believing this comes from already there. Well, FoxDocs, archive, client, BSides. And this is another kind of flaw in the program. It makes everything network. Maps all the EPTs to network, so you actually have to give it network, not EPT, and the date. So that's one of those, like, why would you do that? And this is 0621. And service, oops. Blind. There we go. So now we have an archive of all of our outputs, so we should be able to open this up, see our archive deliverables, which will have our notes and our recon logs and our terminal output. So if our clients need to ask us what happened when, we have it all logged. Then we can do FoxDocs destroy R2. We should see the EPT go away here in a minute. My ancient laptop showing us age. The container's gone, but our mounted file system is still there with all of our outputs. So let's switch out so I can transition out. We got about, what, 5 minutes?
We got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds, all right. Maybe we'll go over, we'll speed through. So that's FoxDocs. So the next steps, if you all liked that and kind of enjoyed the topic, my next steps would be to develop a blog post that examines the tool step by step of all the code flaws we found in a code review style, and then try different IDE integrations models. Codex came out like the week after I did all this, so I didn't want to redo it with Codex and try and redo the slides. But so if you all like that, that's my next idea. And thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I know if you haven't done this before, coming up with the first time doing a presentation and a live demo and finishing on time, congratulations. Here's a little token of our appreciation for that, and thank you very much. Thank you, Wes, and we'll be starting our next session in about 5 minutes.
Hey, Wes. Hey, good to see you. I didn't get the chance to come say I saw your job. Thank you. That's fun and tough, Here, come over here. I always feel like my boss. So long. Just so we're not saying that.
AI can solve it. No, it's not. But you put that, the way you put that is just